Hey everyone, this is Dave Anderson. I'm here to talk to all the leaders out there, and I'm specifically talking to leaders who feel overwhelmed by the day-to-day stuff that's going on at work. You know how it feels. You have all these important things that you need to do, but the tyranny of the urgent takes over. The emails, the meetings, the personnel issues. You get a call from so-and-so says you need to be over here, over in this part of the building right away, and you had all these plans for the day and all these plans for your team, but the urgent just gets in the way. And for you overwhelmed managers out there, I've been there. I know what you're going through. And so what we're trying to do here is build a series of resources for the overwhelmed manager so you can take some time to focus on what's truly important. Things like developing the leaders on your team. Things like working on culture and reinforcing the culture that you want. Things like your mission and values and all those type of things. How do you do that in the busyness of the day? Well, we're going to try to provide you some resources to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to have a video that's going to be following this that you're going to be able to use. It's going to be a short video, and it's going to be on a topic. It could be on leadership. It could be on teamwork. It could be on attitude. It could be on integrity. It could be on any sort of valuable things that we would think would be valuable to you as leaders. It'd be a short video, and at the end of each video, there'll be some facilitator questions that you can show your team. And those facilitator questions can be used to spark conversation with your team. The idea is that you could use this 15 minutes a week, once a week, or maybe once a month. I mean, depending on your schedule, but it just takes you 15 minutes to start reinforcing the things that are important to you. And it's a resource, hopefully, that it won't take you a lot of time to prepare for. I know you want to do all these big things, but you feel like it's got to be a week-long retreat or a 3-day retreat somewhere and take my team off-site. And really, we don't microwave this type of stuff on a team. We crock-pot it, and so it just takes a little bit on a consistent basis. And that's what we're going to try to do for you here. So we're going to have those videos. And we're also going to combine that with a PDF blog or article that relates to the exact same topic. So if you choose to use a video or you choose to use the article, either way, you can take about 15 minutes with your team, whether or not be your weekly meetings or monthly meetings or however you choose to do that, and cover a topic that will hit on the important, even though you're in the midst of all the urgent and the whirlwind. So come back to us here. We'll be back in about, we're going to give a little 5-second break here, and then we're going to start the video, and that'll give you time to stop this video and start the next one for your team in the future. So look forward to seeing you on our next video, and please, if there's any ideas and things that we can use, that we can do here to make this even better, please email me at dave@alslead.com. dave@alslead.com. Have a great day. Hey everyone, Dave here. Look, I want to talk to you about cultivating a team that everybody wants. Most of us, when we think about a team that we want to work for or work with or lead, we don't want a team that's a me first type team. We don't want a team that's full of politics, people positioning themselves, all the CYA that goes on. We don't want a team of people who just do whatever's necessary. I mean, when we talk about that, we're talking about culture and the culture of a team. And the word culture, it comes from the Middle English word cultivation. And when you think about that, when you work on teams, you really need to think about cultivating the culture that you want. See, and when we think about cultivating, we often think about farmers. And when you have a lazy farmer, he may plant some good seed initially, but because of his neglect and the crops he produces are always not up to par. I mean, they aren't what they could be. He may not wake up in time. He may not do a lot as far as fertilizing and turning the ground over and making sure he's planting the best seeds in the best fields that he has. Those are all signs of a lazy farmer. Now, the good farmer, he's intentional. The good farmer, what does he do? Well, look, everything that he does has a purpose. He doesn't, his hard work, it doesn't just end with planting. He goes about and he irrigates, he protects his crops from frost, from pests, all those type of things. A good farmer understands that if he's not active every day in tending to his crops, even the best seed's not going to produce the best crops possible. And that's his whole point. He wants the best crops possible. It's not just about planting something, it's about what fruit comes from what you plant. That's what a good farmer does. And so good leaders, they cultivate the culture that they really want. If you think about it, culture is a noun. Well, cultivate is a verb, and it's an action verb. So what's that mean for us as leaders? That means we got to take action. Yeah, take action. You got to do, a good leader is just kind of like a good farmer. While the good farmer decides what crop he wants to grow and what field and what type of dirt he needs to grow that crop, the good leader defines the values that he wants his team to live by and really spends time thinking about what type of team do I want and how do I want us to behave? And that's the ground, that's the fertile ground that he starts planting his team into. And the good farmer then he takes and he prepares the ground for the seed. And for the leader, what does that look like? Well, that's the leader who's communicating, maybe over communicating, always intentionally and frequently communicating what does good look like, communicating what the values of the team mean, and in everything that they do, relating things back to the values, whether it be in integrity, whether it be teamwork, whether it be service, whatever your values may be, the good leaders are always communicating those values in some form or fashion. Now, the good farmer, he also is going to be careful what seed he's going to choose to plant, right? He's not just going to choose any seed. He's not going to choose the cheapest seed possible if he's really a good farmer. What he's going to do is find the best seed because he knows the best seed put into good soil is going to produce the best fruit. And that's exactly what good leaders do too. They hire people who demonstrate the values or have demonstrated the values that the company, the team holds dear. These people have demonstrated those values in the past. So when he's interviewing, he's looking for those same values that he claims to be important to the team. And he makes sure they are aligned. Now, the good farmer then, once he has planted the seed, what's he do? He waters, he fertilizes, he protects. He does all the things necessary that is going to ensure that crop produces the best fruit possible. The good leader, on the other hand, well, what does he do? Well, guess what? When he sees good behavior that aligns with the values that he claims and that the team claims are important, he's going to reinforce that. He's going to praise people. He's going to say he's going to point out that's exactly the type of teamwork that we want to have around here. That's exactly the type of integrity that we hold dear. When somebody does something and sacrifices maybe a sale in order to make sure a customer gets the best service possible, that's identified as being part of our values, our team values. And so they cultivate and they fertilize that good behavior. And then what else they do? When they see behavior that's not in line with the values that the company holds dear, what does the leader do? The leader makes sure that those values are corrected, those behaviors are corrected, does everything they can to protect the crop, the fruit, from the negative effects of those pests and the bad weather and those type of things, which are obviously just analogies for the behaviors of people who are behaving outside the values. And finally, the good farmer, after he's made sure that he has watered and fertilizes and protects the crops he's growing, he also eliminates anything in the field that could damage the crop, that will hurt the health of the crop, and that could be weeds. You got to weed. You got to pull the weeds out to make sure that all the nutrients are going to the what you want to grow, which is the best fruit possible. Same thing for the leader. The leader has to be willing and has to have true belief in his values and be willing to weed out the people who aren't behaving in line with the values that are claimed. You're cultivating. That's what I'm talking about. You need to cultivate. If you are a leader, like I am a leader, you need to cultivate the values that you hold dear. Now, the leader is ultimately responsible for the state of the fields that he or she owns. All right. So if you are in charge of a team, it's your responsibility. I don't care if the people who above you are aligned with the values. It's still your responsibility, as leader of the team that you lead right at that moment at your level, to cultivate the best fruit possible out from those people. And you do that by going through the steps I talked about, like a good farmer will. The bottom line is the issue comes back to you. It comes back to us as leaders. Am I willing to put in the work that it takes to have the culture that I believe is important? Culture, remember the word culture comes from the word cultivation. And we've got to work as leaders, as farmers. We got to work to make sure that we cultivate the culture that we want to have in each one of our teams. So What's going to come up next is a little something for you, some questions for you to go over with your team. People on your team, maybe you have, maybe you're a leader of leaders. Maybe you're just leading your team and you want to talk about the values that your team has. Some of these facilitation questions that are going to follow on the slides coming up should help you generate some conversation. I look forward to seeing you again soon.